Hello, learners. It is Mrs. Lloyd, and I am here to talk to you about Section 3 of your end of the year tour, Graduation Competency Badges and Transferable Skills. So badges are new this year. Last time we talked about them was back in January when I kind of introduced them and hopefully made you not so afraid to be hearing this new word in our P3 vocabulary. The way you are imagining badges is exactly how we're using them. The way that you achieve the badges is by acquiring a certain set of skills, and in our case, transferable skills, in order to accumulate enough skills to acquire a certain badge, just like you would in Scouts or the skills you'd need to acquire to get a belt in karate, for instance. So the first prompt you have is look at each of your 4 graduation competency badges: citizen, communicator, learner, and thinker. At this point, you should be, and this part is going to change depending on the grade, 1/3 of the way towards completion if you are a freshman, 2/3 of the way if you are a sophomore, and you should be 3/3, which is complete if you are a junior. So you're going to reflect on your progress towards meeting those graduation badge completions, and this isn't the end. So no matter where you are, what's really important here is that you are reflecting on that progress. So let's talk a little bit about that for a second. So if you are a freshman, you have different requirements than the sophomores and juniors. So this is just a quick peek at the freshman requirements again. So you need 7 total thinker, 4 citizen, 11 communicator, and 11 learner. Now, underneath that total number, you'll see some specifics. 1 learner 1, 2 learner 2, 2 learner 3, 2 learner 4, and so on. Those are the only transferable skills that we are specifically dictating you must provide evidence of. The rest of them, so right here we're asking for 7 specific ones, you have freedom on which other learner transferable skills you would like to put in to meet that total of 11. So we're not dictating every single entry that you put in. So there is a little bit of freedom there. Let's look quickly at the sophomores. So sophomores need a total of 5 thinkers, 3 citizens, 7 communicator, and 7 learner, again with their own specific requirements underneath. And for juniors, you need 2 thinkers, 1 citizen, 4 communicator, and 4 learner, and they can be any of the transferable skills. We looked very carefully at what were going to be rigorous but reasonable requirements for each grade and prorated them accordingly. And we, of course, took into consideration the fact that you were coming out of the past 2 pandemic-filled years. Okay, so what might your badges look like now? When you click on the Badges button in the P3 portfolio, you are going to see something like this. It should have the specific graduation competency badge along with your graduation year next to it. That's how you know you're getting the correct listing and numbers. So this might be what you have. You might have about half of your citizens. You might be about 3/4 of the way on your communicator. You might be close to 1/4 of the way in your learner and completely done with your thinker, like this student. So it's going to be different for each of you, and that's okay because you are all taking different classes, different years. This junior is done. So this is exactly where we would like all of our juniors to be. We want their little badge symbol to be completely filled in, full of color, with none of that kind of fogged out gray area left. When you click on one of your badges, it will break down the specific requirements you've handed in order to achieve that badge. If you see green checks, you're doing great. If you don't, if you see the red X, that's just saying that you haven't met them yet. It doesn't mean you won't meet them. So for freshmen, you're going to be seeing a lot of X's, but the goal is that through sophomore and junior year, you slowly start to see those little red X's turn to full green checks. All right, so looking at the prompt again, what you want to do now that you've assessed where you stand is come back to the question and give basically a little progress check. Are you where you should be for a freshman, sophomore, junior? Do you still have a little work to do next year? And then we'd like you to think about which classes you're taking next year that you think might help you to specifically achieve certain things like the Citizen Badge or the Thinker Badge, etc. For the next section, Section B, Transferable Skills, there's already a little video by Mr. Mosk embedded into your tour prompt. So you're going to want to head over there and make sure you watch this button if you have not already completed that section. I'm going to take us on over to Part C. That is where you're going to talk about the transferable skills in your life beyond class. Now, this particular part may not ask for a lot of information, but it's actually very important. The things that you're going to talk about here are the kinds of things that actually truly prove how these skills are transferable. Not just transferable from class to class, from English class to art class to physical education, but transferable in the sense that they will take you into the real world. So starting officially next year, we're going to be asking you to provide evidence of how you're doing that. So we're just going to try it on for size this year. So we're asking you to describe at least one potential entry that you might be able to add about how you're meeting a transferable skill outside of the classroom. We provided a link to help you with some examples. So here you can see just a little snippet from that document. So if you have tried any internships or planning on job shadowing this summer, maybe you're a student tutor for National Honor Society, if you've done community service, if you're a Boy Scout or Girl Scout, if you've done any OSHA certification, and on and on and on. So we've given you some ideas. This is not a prescribed list. You do not have to do the things on this list. You might have fantastic ideas that we haven't even thought of yet. And that's really what we're hoping will happen. On the right side of the document, you're going to see that we've already started to give you ideas about how these transferable skills can directly relate to the different activities that you might choose. Again, these are not all of the options. You might come up with more amazing ideas than we have here, and we can't wait to hear what you come up with. And as always, keep up all your hard work, and remember you can always reach out to your sparkling and colorful digital portfolio coordinators.